What's up, Buck? Or should I say, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. That's right, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Christmas, right? Nothing better than the joy on children's faces and the joy of giving gifts, right? Nothing better than giving gifts. Receiving gifts, not too bad either, but it's stressful, is it not? I tell you, man, giving gifts is a stressful thing. Did I get you enough? Did I get you the right thing? Did it something you like? Did I overgive, undergive, extra give? I tell you what. So this year, I decided I wanted to give a little something back to all my viewers, and I was thinking about it. You know, I could have gone out and got everybody a shiny new hammer, right? Could have sent everybody some Uncle Jerry stickers, something along those lines. That's not the best I can do. The best I can do for you, my wonderful viewers. By the way, this is just a little something to keep Santa warm and give the reindeer their wings. The best I could think of for you is to do a little bit of your shopping for you, huh? So today, the Car Guy and Gal's Ultimate Guide to Christmas Gift Giving, brought to you by D&E. Oh yeah, buddy, it's gonna be an Uncle Jerry Christmas. Pretty excited. So, we're gonna cover the perfect gifts to give everybody on your list, from your buddies, to your significant other, to your in-laws, to the kids. All right, we're gonna cover them all, make your Christmas shopping just that much easier. Let's start with your buddy. Now, there are two types of buddies out there in the world for car guys. You got your car guy buddies, and you got your not car guy buddies. All right, let's start with the not car guy buddy. When giving a Christmas gift to a non-car guy buddy, you have the opportunity to be just a little bit selfish, to maybe right some cosmic wrongs, all right? There are two things that I'm gonna highly suggest you consider giving to your non-car guy buddy: jumper cables and a tire patch kit. Let them fix their own stuff for once, right? Because how many times have you gotten that call, "Hey there, buddy, I know it's 3 in the morning and I'm an hour and a half away and it's snowing and it's a holiday, but darned if the car won't start. Yeah, I don't know. Can you come down here and jump it?" And being the good car guy buddy that you are, you roll out of bed, jump in the Jeep, and go on down there to jump their Toyota Corolla. Not anymore. Here are your own cables. Find a stranger. Same thing with the tire patch kit. No, I'd probably just make it worse, but I can't afford to take it to Mavis. What if you just came over and did it for me? You just might make a better person. You might even make another car guy friend out of them, which I think would be just fine. Now, if you really want to get ambitious, or if you already gave them the jumper cables and the tire patch kit last year, get them a Haynes manual. Here you go. Your car, it's a logical entity, even if it is a Toyota. Go ahead and figure out which collection of parts go together to make it run again, so you don't have to call me all the darn time. Now, if you've exhausted all those, or you don't want to be quite that passive-aggressive about your gift giving, you need to figure out what your non-car guy buddy's hobby is. Surely they do something with all that time they don't spend in a garage busting up knuckles and strewing parts all over the place and blowing, future financial health on whatever. They must do something, so figure it out. Whether it's spelunking or stamp collecting, figure out what their hobby is, fire it into Amazon. Somewhere in the top 10, there's gonna be a spelunking t-shirt or a clever stamp collecting mug. Just get them that. It's a great idea. And when in doubt, beer. Because there's nobody on the planet that doesn't love beer. You're certainly not my buddy if you don't. All right. Now, there are two ways to go with beer. You can either give them a beer of the month club, or you can go ahead and give them a make your own beer kit. All depends on how much you like them. If you really like this buddy, say, "Hey, buddy, even though you're not a car guy, I want you to sit back, enjoy a beer on me once a month for the next 12 months. If you're like, you're an okay friend, but kind of feel like you should have to work for it, make your own beer." There you go. That's all you need to know. Now, another thing that I'm going to be adding on this list: knives. Knives make excellent gifts, and there's just not enough knife guys left in the world. And I think we should all be striving every year, every day really, to try to increase the number of knife guys there are in the world. So for every group, I'm going to tell you the absolute perfect knife to give them, to let them know, hey, I care quite a darn lot about you. Now, for the non-car guy buddy, you're gonna wanna go with the Kershaw Clash. It's a very elegant, simple, lightweight little folder, great for an EDC, but here's the catch. It's got one of those half blades. It's half a saw blade, half a knife blade, which means it's half useful. That's how I find you, non-car guy buddy. You're half useful as a friend. Here's a gift that's just like you. Moving on to the car guy buddy. Now, here's where we get to have a lot of fun. Your fellow car buddy, these are your people. Now, what do we do in car culture? We like to give each other the business. We like to make life a little more difficult than it really needs to be. Just ask Eric. I'm pretty good at it. I don't want to brag. when giving a gift to a fellow car guy, you have the opportunity to possibly add some of that element to it. I kind of want to give my car guy buddy gifts that are a little two-faced maybe. Maybe they really dig in their craw. Here's an example. So they've got a Subaru that's always giving them trouble. Go ahead and get them a set of Felpro head gaskets. They're gonna look at you sideways because it is a dig at their Subaru, but you're gonna have to say thank you because chances are they're gonna need them. Now, if you're my buddy, you can go ahead and give me some stop leak. Any kind, it doesn't matter. Everything leaks. Transmission stop leak, power steering stop leak, AC system stop leak, rear main stop leak. I'm gonna look at you a little bit obnoxious for acknowledging on Jesus' birthday that my Jeep's a POS, but I'm gonna have to say thank you for helping me keep some of my fluids inside the Jeep. Now, if you got a buddy who's always getting stuck, what do you get them? Get them some Max Tracks, not the actual Max Tracks. No one can afford those things. Nobody in the world is worth that. But you go to Grainger, Grainger.com. They have some knockoff Max Tracks. They call them tire traction pads. You go ahead and give that. You say, hey, buddy, I'm tired of digging you out of cornfields. Here's some knockoff Max Tracks. Lose my number. Love ya. There you go. That's how you say Merry Christmas to a fellow car guy, or Jeeper in this case. Now, the ultimate Christmas gift to kind of dig at your buddy is a Chinese turbo with a bottle of Boustain. Nothing says, I'll help you with the rebuild like Chinese turbo and a bottle of Boustain, because there's no car guy on the planet who's not gonna find some way to jimmy jam that turbo in there and empty that whole bottle of Boustain in and go ahead and put her in the ketchup and send part numbers flying. And it'll be all your fault. Merry Christmas, buddy. Now, for your car guy buddy, chances are any car guy's already carrying around a Leatherman. They got one at least in the glove box somewhere, right? So you gotta get a little more creative for the knife for the car guy buddy. And I'm gonna suggest the Leatherman Crunch. The Leatherman Crunch is a wonderful little knife. It comes with all the expected accoutrement you would anticipate finding on a Leatherman multi-tool, but the frame is a vice grip. What's more useful for trying to fix your blown up Chinese turbo on the side of the road than a vice grip? Leatherman Crunch for you, buddy. Merry Christmas. Now, moving on, whether you are a car guy or a car gal, there's a good chance you have a special man or woman at home who you need to buy gifts for. Now, we're gonna assume that if you're lucky enough to have a significant other that is also into cars, Jeeps, trucks, whatever have you, you're probably set. You each know what the other one needs, and hey, buying Christmas gifts is probably pretty okay. Maybe I'm wrong, somebody let me know. We're gonna focus on those who are, I don't wanna say not lucky enough, but didn't find somebody with similar interests. Opposites attract, I understand. On all accounts, I understand. So, let's start with the guys. Guys, you've got a lovely lady at home who's kind enough to put up with your BS, the project vehicles, the stained driveway, the what have you. The first thing you're gonna want to address when buying Christmas gifts for this lovely lady, fix anything of hers that your unhealthy automotive addiction has ruined throughout the year. Think bath towels that you ruined coming in from an oil change. Think her favorite top that made it into the wash with some jeans that were covered in nanny seas. Maybe consider all the times you did an oil change to save $3 and you didn't wipe down the steering wheel after the test drive and then she got in the next day for work and her hand. Maybe think back and reflect and really meditate on some of those times. That's the first thing you want to look into. After that, we're going to want to try to keep that lovely little lady as comfortable as possible as she goes through her day-to-day life. And we really don't want to underline all the aggravation that being engaged with a car guy goes. So I suggest, well, liquor's always good, right? Like I said, keep Santa warm. But what I can also suggest, go over to Sharper Image, spend about $50, you get a nice heated seat cover for her vehicle. Maybe the one with the massager. Yeah, my wife has one that's heated, massager, and cooled. I need to keep her as comfortable as possible so that she doesn't daydream too much on the ridiculous things I put her through. I wish you could see our garage right now. It's literally head to toe with transfer case parts. Oh, and old suspension parts, and those are the old boxes. And then she's got a little spot where she can park, kind of open her door. Yeah. Now, as for the lady in your life, I'm going to recommend the Buck 285 Bantam folding knife. Delightful little knife. In fact, when you're out there getting one for her, you're going to want to pick up one for yourself. Handles come in an array of different colors. My personal favorite for the lady is, I believe they call it the Muddy Girl. It's a neon pink camo. Not that girls have to wear pink, but hey, I understand. Lots of girls like that. Nice bright pink. Really let them know you're coming. Anyway, the Buck knife makes a great gift. It's a long, storied name, high quality, 440 steel. everything you could want in a nice little do-it-all folder. And I'm telling you, once you've seen hers, you're gonna wanna get one for yourself. So get the whole family, $1.285 Bantams. I think it can be yours, even engraved. Get it engraved. I mean, what says I love you, sweetie, like an engraved buck knife on Christmas morning? Come on now. Something to my love, love your love, something creative like that. You'll figure it out. All right, now moving on to the car gals who happen to have a guy who's not into vehicles. First thing I'm going to do is strongly suggest you reconsider because you could do better, but I understand opposites attract. So what you're going to want to do is get him a torque wrench, okay? Nice torque wrench, maybe even an inch-pound torque wrench, because those are rare. Not many people have those. Give it to him and see what he says, and if he's excited about it, excellent, you win on Christmas. If he's a little bit indifferent, you may want to consider finding someone else to spend the New Year with. That's all I have to say. There are plenty of good car guys out there, but if you insist on staying with Shirley, even though he doesn't appreciate a torque wrench on Christmas morning, then the knife you're going to want to get him, Victorinox, the classic Swiss Army knife. They make something called the Victorinox Executive. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? The Victorinox Executive has a moderate blade, your little pen blade, and then the remainder of the 5 or 6 tools all have to do with doing your nails. Because I'm assuming that if Shirley doesn't like a torque wrench, he probably gives a darn about his nails. Has to have them all in the proper shape. Yeah. Personally, never met a nail I couldn't tame with one of these, but I don't know. My name's not Shirley. Moving on. Now for the kids. This is what Christmas is all about. Giving gifts to children, seeing their faces light up on Christmas morning when they dash downstairs to find out what Santa gave them. And what did Santa bring them this year? You're gonna want to take this opportunity. Well, Santa's gonna want to take this opportunity to start them young and raise them right. Anytime you give a child a gift, it should be an excuse to try to mold who they're gonna be later in life. Sure, you could give them an iPad, you could give them never mind, don't give them video games. Huge swing and a miss, huge swing and a miss. What you're gonna wanna do is get an age-appropriate engine. Starting with the very young, over at Wally World, you can get the Workman Light and Sound build-it-yourself engine. Now it's a little plastic V8 and the valve covers come off and things spin and it's got a couple tools and the kid will be coming over to you asking, "What's this, Daddy? What's this, Mommy? Tell me about it." And instead of reading the boring old nursery rhymes on Christmas morning, you'll be sitting there telling little Timmy and trying to explain what gear ratios are. Doesn't that just sound magical? Now if your kid's a little bit older, over at Summit Racing, they have a full rolling toolbox full of plastic tools, but anatomically correct nonetheless. And I find this very interesting. You don't want to get a tool in their hand as soon as possible, because if you got a tool in each hand, you don't have any hands left to do drugs, all right? That's just good parenting right there. Now we've covered the toddlers and we've covered the young kids. Now for them, and I can't even believe this exists, but it does, and I think it's just excellent. Leatherman makes a knife called the Leatherman Leap. It's a knife, it's a multi-tool, fully functional, geared towards youngish children. Yeah, I don't know. I figure by the time they're 4, they're responsible enough to have a multi-tool. It's a tool, it's not a knife. It does happen to have a knife on it though, and it's got a fully functional pliers and tweezers and some other stuff like double cut saw. Great little tool. Now if your kids are not quite old enough for the Leatherman Leap, Columbia River and Tool Company makes something that they call the Nathan knife. Now it's actually a wooden folding knife model. I believe it actually locks back. You build it with your kids and then afterwards you can teach them knife safety. This is for your toddlers. All right, if they're old enough to hold a knife, they're old enough to know some responsibility about a knife. And then once they graduate from that, they get into the Leatherman Leap and knives for the whole family, all right? A family that knifes together stays together. Maybe don't use that one. We'll find a better one for next year, but knives all around. Now, we've covered the small children. What about if it's somebody else's kid, all right? Now we're talking about your buddy's kid, and we already talked about getting your buddy a gift that has some creativity to it that's really gonna make him question why in the world he's actually friends with you. Now, there's 3 groups to consider when buying your buddy's kid a gift, all right? You're gonna want something that's as many of the following: loud, difficult, and overly stimulating. That's gonna be drum sets, that's gonna be your very complex or dangerous toys, and then something with a lot of sugar that they can consume. I actually found something at Target called Candy Chemistry. Candy Chemistry is a kit that involves some cooking, it involves some baking, and kids can actually make their own candy. It's great because it takes a ton of supervision on your buddy's part, and at the end of it, the kid gets all zooted up on candy and bounces around the house for a while. Now this is when you're gonna also want to include something like, I like a drum set. Once they're all zooted up on that candy, whipping around your buddy's house, just when he thinks he might be able to sneak out back to finish and get some work done on the project car, now the kid's gonna sit in on the drum set and just start going full Bonham on him. All right, and then, well, it's the gift that keeps on giving is what it is. As for a knife for your buddy's kid, I say full-on 9-inch K-bar. Honestly, I mean, if we're already going down the rabbit hole and we're giving gifts that really make people question why in the world they do any business with us at all, give your friend's 5-year-old a K-bar. Sheathed, of course, but the full 9 1/4 inch, the US Marine Corps one, you know? And let his wife see if you're ever allowed to go to the U-Pull together again, you know? Now moving on from there, let's say that you personally have a teenage child. Teenagers, notoriously difficult to buy for, right? Wrong. What do all kids want? What do all teenagers want? From the time they're 12 until the time they finally slither out of your house. Freedom, right? They just want freedom, so give them the gift of freedom. There's nothing more special than giving the gift of a vehicle on Christmas Day. That's right. I just today, let's consult Santa's list. Just today, I went on Craigslist. Right, and I'm sure it's the same on Kijiji or whatever you have by you. For less than $300, I could have had an 02 Accord, an 03 Jeep Liberty, an 03 Taurus, a 99 Expedition, a 95 Cherokee, or a 1994 Buick Century. None of them run. So what do? You spend $200 or $300 on the car, then you go and get them a 210-piece Stanley Mechanics and Homeowner set, and you say, have at it, here's the YouTube. Figure out how to get it running. That's the gift that keeps on giving. What did we say earlier about a tool in each hand, no room for drugs? And you're teaching the kid a valuable lesson, okay? If you can get a $200 1994 Buick Regal running with nothing but a 210-piece Stanley set and the internet, you have a future ahead. You have a career. You can come and work for D&E. Help us make videos. At this point, I'm sure you're gonna ask, well, what do you get the teenager? What's a nice practical knife to get a teenager? What I carry every day is a Leatherman Wingman. I find it's the perfect balance of utility and more utility, because what else do you want in a multi-tool but utility? Leatherman Wingman, or Wave. Wave is good too. Rebar's good. Any Leatherman or Gerber. Gerber center drive is real good. Yeah. Matter of fact, don't get them any knives. Get all the knives for me. I want all the knives. Yeah, okay. Moving on to the in-laws. The in-laws can be tricky. Am I right? Let's hope that you got a car guy for a father-in-law. Maybe you're lucky enough that you did. If you did, see the rules about the buddy, all right? I'd recommend maybe staying away from the super passive-aggressive stuff, but you play it as close to the line as you feel you need to. Now, if you didn't get a car guy for a father-in-law, what you're gonna wanna do is figure out either his favorite brand or his favorite sports team. He's gotta have one of those. And you just get him a shirt or a hat like that. Yep. What, are you into the Seattle Seahawks? Seattle Seahawks t-shirt. What, are you into steel chainsaws? Steel chainsaw hat. What are you into, I don't know, what's Fitliest or something golf? Yeah, the Fitliest hat. It's the nicest Fitliest hat you ever had. I don't know what that company's really called. It's not that. All right, guys like stuff with their favorite stuff on the shirt and the hat. Don't overthink it. That's all there is to it. The knife for the father-in-law, without a doubt, hands down, the Winchester 22 Classic Brass Folder. It's a timeless knife. It's the knife that every single one of our grandfathers would pull out to open a Christmas gift or whittle a stick or God knows what. I have about 10 of them that I've inherited from various grandfathers and uncles. You really can't go wrong with a simple brass-ended Winchester knife, hands down. Now, the mother-in-law. Hopefully, if you are in a sane, productive, two-way engagement of any sort, the missus took care of the mother-in-law. But if not, if for some reason this fell to you, there's really, I can only suggest wine. I don't know what kind of wine. I've heard people say that Cab is king. I don't know what that means, but I assume that Cabernet, so that. And then Leatherman makes something called the juice, no blade at all, which is good. You don't want to give a drunk mother-in-law a blade. You're just gonna go ahead and give her the bottle of wine, and the Leatherman juice is just a wine opener, and maybe even open it for her, and hope that that works. And if it doesn't, then who in the right mind is asking one of us to go buy the mother-in-law gift? That doesn't seem sane. Though if you have kids, just give everyone pictures of the kids. I do that every year. Always works out fine. Now, a few more things that we added to Santa's list, because stocking stuffers, these are just great all-around gifts. The number one gift that anyone can give or receive at any time of the year in any corner of the globe: warm, dry socks. There's nothing more important. I'll save you guys the didactic, but I have a whole story about it. Two of the wisest men I ever knew gave me the same advice: socks. One of them was Dumbledore. I'm a Harry Potter geek. But I mean, you know, it doesn't get any better than Dumbledore, right? Socks is what he said. Beef jerky. Beef jerky is expensive. Everybody likes it. Nobody ever wants to buy it for themselves. You want to sell someone, I freaking love you, go and get them like a 5-pound bag of dried meat. Just give it to them. Don't even wrap it. You know what? Beef jerky is the only gift that you can open and take some on the way over, and they're still gonna be fine with it. You hand them a half-open, half-finished bag of jerky, and be like, I don't know, it's a long ride. They're like, I don't give a damn. I still got 2.5 pounds. Done and done. Beef jerky. Screwdriver set. Almost anybody can use a screwdriver set. Even not if you're a car guy. Screwdrivers just, they get used for other stuff that's not for screwdrivers. I have screwdrivers that are pry bars. I have screwdrivers that are center punches. I have screwdrivers that are scrapers. I have screwdrivers that are drum brake tools. I have very few screwdrivers that are actually screwdrivers. I do stuff like this with them all the time. Granted, I'm a lunatic car guy, but still, I know plenty of non-car guy people that still, they never have a screwdriver in the house. Hey, come over, put a bookshelf for me together. And oh, you got a screwdriver? No, I thought you'd bring it. You don't have a screwdriver in the whole house. So screwdriver sets. You can get these silly green ones. I think this pack of 6, Harbor Freight, $6. They practically pay you to take them. They're wonderful. I put warm socks on here again. I really like to drive home the importance of warm socks. It's on the list twice. And then after that, batteries. It sounds a little impersonal. It's not. All right. Well, Christmas morning, what's the most valuable commodity in any house? Batteries. Oh, cool. I got this friggin' thing, but it takes friggin' batteries. I don't have friggin' batteries. You do now, buddy, because I love you. I'm looking out for you. Merry Christmas. Those are AAAs right there. Not as easy to find as the AA's, so. You know what's hard to find? C batteries anymore. So you find some C batteries, you buy them up, give them to everybody. I got like a whole pile, a whole shelf in the closet full of stuff I can't use anymore because it takes C batteries. Who even knows where to get them? Final thought on knives, Gerber dime. Great little multi-tool, absolutely wonderful. I'd give it to my 80-year-old granddaughter. I'd give it to my 2-year-old granddaughter? Nope. I'd give it to my 80-year-old grandmother. I'd give it to my 2-year-old daughter. Hands down, great little blade in it, little bottle opener, little whatever else. Gerber dime, wonderful little knife. So there it is, friends. Let us know what gifts you're buying this year. The ones that you found easily, the ones that were difficult. What's your favorite knife to give somebody? I'll tell you what my other one is. One more honorable mention. They're called peasant knives. Ooh, very cool. Very simple design. I actually want to get into making them myself. It's on my to-do list, but here's my garage right now. So as you can tell, my to-do list is pretty full, as it were. So, not a lot of time for hand-making Christmas knives, but let us know what you guys think. What's some of your Christmas traditions? What do you guys drink to keep Santa warm and make Rudolph's nose glow? I've got a few things up my sleeve. Yeah. Hope you all have a happy, healthy, and productive Christmas season. D&E are going to be back in full force in 2020. We'll have a couple videos sporadic between now and then, but we're kind of retooling some things. I'm sure you've noticed uploads have been down in quantity, hopefully up in quality, but we're going to get back to, I'd like to get back to our 3 uploads a week, because man, do I love hearing myself talking to a camera. That's all from me, folks. Good night. Cheers. Or thanks for watching. See you next time. That's the one.